Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Dede Fulk. She is a AI trailblazer, founder of Pulse on Profits, AI consultant and marketing strategist. So this is my brief introduction to you, Dede, but there's a lot more to you. Will be at the end. The full bio will be at the end on the podcast notes. So the question that I love opening all my conversations with is, how would you introduce yourself? Who is Dede in this very moment?
At this very moment, I'm definitely someone who I once saw creativity from the outside. I was never a creative person to begin with, and I really consider myself a creative artist now. Uh, yeah, that's where I'm at this point in my life.
I love that. This creativity, creation, it's something that relates to spirituality very much. Like,
Yes.
you probably have heard that we all made in the image of God, in the sense that God is the greatest creator, and we all have that. Coming from the lens of people who understand creativity as something that we do that's different, that it relates to entertainment, and even it reflects the soul for some people.
Mhm.
How do you define creativity?
I define creativity as for me, it's a self discovery, really trying to figure out what excites me, what I can bring to the table, how I can connect with people, because ultimately I want to be able to have some emotional connection, and imagery is can do amazing things to bring out somebody's emotions. I mean, it can bring out trauma, it can bring out happiness. So I think creativity is all about expressionism, just opening yourself up so that uh, it's not pretentious. It's just a very safe place.
I love the idea of non-judgment. That's something
Hmm.
that it's a concept, but it's just a beautiful one, isn't it? That we can do
Hmm.
something and not be judged for, not even ourselves, because a lot of times
Right.
people, they stop doing something just because they feel it's not worth it, or it's not, no one
Hmm.
will like it. That's kind of sad, when I think about these things, but it is part of the human experience, isn't it? So, what insights have you gained, Didi, from this? Especially when it comes to self-discovery. I would love to know, what insights have you gained within that realm.
So with self-discovery, I think what I've found is that, I found a new spark in life. My background was healthcare. And so it didn't really allow me the chance to be creative. And so when I transitioned into copywriting and travel writing and then the AI world, I definitely found that I could be creative. I didn't have to have that perfectionism type um, personality. I mean, I feel like I'm a perfectionist. That just always comes out. Um, but definitely, it's about learning. I'm not going to say that doing the artwork that I've done that it doesn't take time, because it really does, and it helps when you have a foundation. Um, so yeah, it's really finding out who I am inside, and then I can come up with some ideas, and it's amazing to see how these images just are generated. And it's like a story when you put in a prompt to these different language models, such as Dolly or Midjourney. When you put those in, you can just, it's like creating a story, what I was doing when I was a travel writer as well.
So it
Hmm.
is telling a story through images, isn't it?
Correct. Hmm.
I want to show some of them here. Yeah, I would love to know more about it. You're probably already getting started with the inspiration for this story, because yeah, I do see a story, but it's beyond a story in a way too.
So I love the beaches, and I mean, I live in Florida, so and I love the sunsets and everything. And actually, I chose this image. It was from a reference image, no less. which was kind of a cool inspiration idea. And then I can adjust it based on my words, my feelings. And this is what came out. And it shows kind of like the turmoil that can be going on, but it's such a beautiful natural image. And people don't realize that you can produce these types of images in for AI.
Do you remember the feelings that you had when you were creating this image?
Well, when I was creating it, I was missing the ocean at the time because I was staying up in Orlando. And I remember I created it thinking, oh my gosh, because I saw something similar and I go, okay, I'm going to put it out there. I love rocks in the water because it gives a different dimension. And uh, I could probably sit all day on a rock out by the water. And so in a sense, I just added a few words that was like a story saying, okay, I'm staring out into the ocean and into the sunset. And it basically was someplace I really wanted to be. And this is what came up. And you never know what you're going to get with the generative AI. You never know. I mean, like I said, you can use some reference images and everything, but there's no chance that it will ever come up identical anytime. That's what's really fascinating. You never know what you'll get.
That is very interesting because that resembles life itself, right? We never
Mhm.
know each moment what will happen, how we will feel. We can't really predict, especially feelings and emotions and thoughts. This one I mentioned off record about a woman that here, I'd love to hear, especially the feelings behind this one.
It's interesting because I do try out different styles because I think it's important when I work with my clients that I know the different art styles, the different whether it's watercolor, whether it's pop art, that type of thing. And I just happen to put in to the prompting, a woman uh, really struggling in life. And I think with coaches, they deal with a lot of these different patients or clients. And you can't always find on stock images the best ones or something that really resonates. Like if you put in somebody struggling, it may not come up like this. But that's what I did, and it really captured my heart because I love the colors and I love the simplicity. But then you can see the chains that are just enveloped, or she's enveloped in the chains.
In the description, I see stress. You mentioned the word stress. Suffering came to mind too when I
Mhm.
saw it right away. Talk to me for a moment about this suffering and pain. How do you make sense of it? Why do we suffer so much, especially unnecessarily, some of us?
Gosh, that is a good question, and I wonder that myself. I think there's always something to learn from it, and uh, you know, being that I was in healthcare, I saw so much suffering, with patients, and it. I never quite understood why we had to go through that, but um, I think that if there's a way to express yourself and where you're not having to go through and be addicted to something to escape any kind of suffering, I think this is a great alternative because anytime I feel stressed or I might be suffering myself over something or struggling, I just come and I just start playing on the computer with images, and I'll find myself really happy afterwards. So, I don't know. I wish I knew. I think that there's something that we have to learn all from our suffering that makes us appreciate things.
Well, it's really wisdom what comes to mind. It's something that
Mhm.
we can apply in life and kind of make it better, but not in a sense without pain. I think pain's part of life, isn't it?
I do. You, I was going to say another thing. One of the reasons we might suffer is so that we can connect with others. It's a way to all come together And I think it's so important for, um, friends and family members, that type of thing, to stay together and to help work through problems. And I think if everybody was just happy all the time, they may not have that experience where they have, the true friends that are really there by your side.
That makes a lot of sense, and it's very humbling, isn't it, to go through suffering in life. And sometimes I think with the social media we have this misconception that some people are not suffering, that their lives are
That's
perfect,
true.
but it's not true, right?
Everybody has something. I mean, when you talk to people, everybody goes through something, a challenge.
Went through challenges, going through, or will. It's an inevitable in life. So
Hmm.
this image really captured my attention. Just trying to go deeper behind what's behind the pain, and why do we suffer, and sometimes why do we go through unnecessary suffering. It's almost like they're embracing pain
Hmm.
as a part of them, and they don't want to let go. It's not that pain is holding on to them, it's quite the opposite. We are holding on to pain ourselves.
And I'm sure when you talk to so many different people, you've heard so many different reasons. I mean, and they probably all resonate with you. I mean, I think that's one uh, aspect of what you do, is that you hear so many different ways. And I'm sure it's helped you to progress through as well when you've experienced things.
Yes, Didi.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I have heard so much. Yes, they have helped me in the moment. But then, the question comes up again. That's funny. It's never like a final answer or a final anything. It
Uh-huh.
keeps kind of evolving. That's what is fascinating about life. Do you have those kinds of practices when it comes to suffering and pain?
I definitely go through my ups and downs for sure. Um, and, I really do try to find out how other people deal with things. But yeah, I have to admit, I've had some real struggles, you know, um, being married before. I have a wonderful husband now, but it was very turbulent before. My career has changed. I had been injured, so I've I've definitely been through all that. I've lost my parents. My mother was my best friend, and I still struggle after 10 years with that. I mean, it's like right there in front of me all the time.
Yeah, so grief is a big one too,
Yeah.
right? I'm sorry to hear that, Didi. That's another type of conversation that I love about, that it needs to be kind of out there more, death, embracing, impermanence again, that
Hmm.
we are just here for a short period of time, and we need to, in a way, learn how to make the best of it, coming from love. So,
Hmm.
yes, let me change the image. This is a
Oh
beautiful.
my gosh, yes. That was at a really difficult time in my life. And, um, I, again, the water, uh, I just felt like things were really crashing in on me. And I put that in, and it's amazing that this is what came out. When it popped out, I was like, wow, it's like serendipity. It's where I'm at. I mean, this is how I felt. It's almost like it transitions into I mean, I don't want to say into the computer, but it's like the energy goes in there. But I have the ray of sun or the moon. I can't remember which one I called it, but I have that behind me, and it was the idea of helping to lift me up.
And something, yeah, the water caught my attention. The colors are really beautiful. The hair with the golden
Hmm.
hair, and then the details with the clothes and the rocks too. I see the reflection. It's almost,
Oh yes.
yes, they match everything. Um, so do you kind of have you contemplated the idea that AI, that computers, the machines could one day become as intelligent as human beings?
That's always that that's kind of the myth that goes on, or the fallacy, I would say. I think you always need that human in the loop. That's the creative part. This just um, it's coming from inside. So if you don't have that, you don't have anything. That's how I really feel. So it's just an extension, uh, sort of like the typewriter was when people were writing, and then it became the computer. Photography. There's uh, the extensions of the different lenses for the camera, and I just think that it's just a way. I do think more and more there's becoming the agents out there and that type of thing where they can do more things. You still need somebody to oversee everything, and you still need um, the creativity that comes from within, is what I think.
That's it's something that a lot of people talk about these days, and some people are very concerned that machines will take over, and has
Absolutely.
already in a way has been creating art that is that's beyond human capability. Some humans, not all
Hmm.
humans, but some. So it's writing books, is doing like amazing things, and
I
some people are
know.
becoming concerned about that. But I agree, Didi. I don't think everything's coming from the human mind. So the machines might be mimicking the human mind, isn't it? I don't know how to what extent that will be able to do that, but
Right.
it's really a reflection of us anyway, of our minds, of human minds, and the human heart, of course, as you put
Uh-huh. No, I think you're totally right. As you mentioned about the book writing, I'm actually working with somebody on that where we use AI as a brainstormer, researcher, um, and where we're not having it write the entire book because it's all about the stories. It doesn't know your stories. It doesn't have the emotions. So anybody can write a book in, an hour with AI, but is it really going to touch the human person that's reading it? Because that's what it boils down to. It really, you want to connect with people. And so it's about relating to people, and it doesn't know how to relate. I mean, you can go on to like ChatGPT, and it can learn about you as you train it. And it can remember things about you that you've put into it, but it doesn't have the emotions. So yeah, it takes the human being to make it all go round.
yeah, because that's where, yeah, we really, I really believe that we reflect divinity. Yeah, human beings,
Hmm.
we are sacred, and we reflect um, divine energy. So yes, and we are passing on to everything else, including machines. So talk to me about that. Your services. I have more images here to show, but you
Okay.
do AI for content creation, AI for productivity and automation, branding with AI powered visuals and messaging, and then the author flow, as you just mentioned, AI
Right.
powered collaboration for writers and AI branding. Did I miss anything? I'd love to hear more about each one of them, especially the writing one. That's interesting for some
So
people.
the author flow, well, I'm in the process of getting certified as a consultant. And so I make sure I always go and continuously learn how to do different things. I continue training constantly. One week I might miss and I feel like I'm lost. Uh, so I make it a point to collaborate with a lot of different people. And I found this one woman who's done a lot with uh, software. And so we came together since I do the copywriting and the imaging, and we were able to put together, they're called GPT personas. So you might have a researcher, a brainstormer, a content writer, all different, like maybe five different um, team players, so to speak. And they can collaborate with one another, which is so interesting. So we've created this where you can have the researcher come in and mention something, and then it's hard to explain it unless you actually see the demonstration. But we're working with publishers on white labeling it because they teach the coaching of how to write the book, but this is another angle so that people can um, really hear what other people or other personas would say, teammates would say about that writing. They can criticize one another, You can ask them to step in, you can ask them to step out, but it's like a round robin.
Yeah, you have this author flow and then collaboration on that, and then you offer a lot more content creation. You actually had a sample on your website before and
Okay.
after, and it was
Oh,
so
oh, the
amazing.
images. Okay, so was that the image where the I worked with a coach where she came to me? I think that was, or was it the image of her? It was.
It was Bob. No, it was not Barbara. Yeah,
Oh, it
yeah,
wasn't
Barbara
Barbara.
Sinclair. Gosh, Barbara. What's not enough
I know I
time?
love her, but I did do images with her. I did before and after with her. Um, and well, because that was with like a photo shoot, a virtual photo shoot. So if somebody didn't want to go get their photos done, they would send me some selfies, and then I could put them in an environment that they were interested in. But I can also work with the coaches and business owners if they're interested in a particular style. I ask them what really resonates with them. And so I was able to work with this one, and I taught her some different ways to get all of her images for her website and her social media where they're all the same style. And she just absolutely loved how all of a sudden it just brightened up her website, and everything was uniform. And she's like, "Oh my gosh!" And I mean, she just, I talk to her frequently, but it's so fun to be able to see, even with an hour-long session with somebody, to see what they can come up with. I help them with that. I can also do things for people, but I really enjoy working through what they're looking for, really figuring out what it is that they want and then helping them achieve that.
I love the values too on your website, growth. I have them here. But I want to go back to another image. And I have a question for you about success. How do you define success these days, Didi?
So, of course, being financially set to where uh, I have passive income coming in, I think that is part of what I define success, as well as having good relationships with people. I think no matter what, uh, wherever I go, I always try to meet some person that I can always stay connected to. I mean, I have friends from so many years ago, and I'm always told that I'm a genuine person. I really believe in authenticity, even though I do create these AI, artwork images. I really believe in authenticity, and just working for what you want in life, and not hurting people along the way, helping people. I've always had a caregiving personality, even probably to a fault, but because you've heard where caregivers tend to not take care of themselves. It's almost like Geppetto's with the the shoes and the kid. They're the last ones in the family. But I think it's really important um, to be able to take care of yourself financially, not depend on a man. At least, I mean, although I do have my husband there, but I find it very important to take care of my own success in that way versus trying to go find somebody that can support me. Um, and then, keeping in touch with my family and my friends, and enjoying what I do. I think that's the main thing.
I love to hear that, though, the relationship part, and then loving what you do. That's a
Hmm.
big one. And that all comes together, right, in a way. By being around people that we love, we ended up feeling inspired to
Hmm.
having good relationships inspire us to do what we love. It really does, has been my case too. So I want to show this image too. We're almost at the end, but I want to show this one too. There's so many. I have about 7 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful, this one though
I know,
too.
isn't that a really unique one?
Yes, 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 yes.
Like, it just comes to life. I mean, it comes out, the pages, just jump out at you.
It see to me represents possibilities, like
Oh
life
yeah.
itself again, all the stories that we tell in our lives, and then the infinite possibilities they outweigh. So much that we can do, that we can entertain in this life. So it's a book. Did you create this specifically for someone?
No, I was actually playing around. Some of the models don't do words very well, and so I wanted to see what fairy tales would look like on in a book, and then I just added some wording, and it's amazing how it just created this image that came to life. I mean, it like jumped out at me. I was like, wow, that's really a unique look. I don't know really what it more than that. I mean, I was just trying to look at books, creating a book, and I just found that interesting because you'd never find that in like a stock photo or something.
Right. I never seen this before. Yeah, you're right. It creates something that has never been created, that you never
Right.
see out there. So it's very, very unique, um, and inspiring. It's beautiful. It's just incredible. I have not seen too many AI generated images, some of them, but not too many.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, I'm not familiar with it. So thank you for bringing this to this platform too.
That's one thing I've noticed with AI is that yes, it gets things done a lot quicker, but you have to have the imagination. And I've always been one, I don't know that I had the friend that was the imaginary friend, but but I've always had quite the imagination. I'm I'm not as analytical as I am, in my mind, imagining things and that kind of thing.
It probably has been there all along since
Oh,
you were young, very young.
yeah, I mean, maybe it has, and it just was suppressed. When I was scrubbing with physicians, it was, yeah, you can't just deviate from how you're putting a stent in somebody's heart. That's just not possible. So that's why my outlet was then travel writing and that kind of thing. But uh, yeah, so I think I've always kind of gravitated to try to find something that I could do that was allowed my inspiration to come out. And
That's funny about imagination. We think about children, right? A lot of times when, the dreaming. I love daydreaming. I do that
oh my
all the
gosh, yes.
time. I've been imagining new things, and I love that. It's just it's fun, I have to say. It's playful. It's so,
Uh-huh.
so playful. So I have one more image here.
Oh yeah, that's a cute one.
Oh my God, I love that.
um, and I love animals, so so I notice whenever I do things, I'm always like a cat and a dog, or a girl with a dog.
It brings like this what is surreal. It's this part of
Yes.
us that's not human, or it's not really 3D. It's
Hmm.
beyond that. It's so every time I look at the image that you send to me, that's especially this one too, for some reason it
Hmm.
brings, it's almost like the soul. Some people call the soul the spirit. Thank you so much for your contribution to creativity
Oh,
using
absolutely.
technology, right? Being open to the new. There's so much fear happening, and what are you doing really symbolize love, because that's what life is all about. Life itself, it's open to everything. Anything can happen. So in a
Right.
way, love reflects life and freedom as well. Oh, but that's a question for you, actually. What is your idea of freedom? This platform is titled The Freedom to Feel, so that would be
Oh,
my last question.
freedom to me is well, where I can do the things that I want to do without hurting people. Where freedom of speech, where you can say what you want, but uh, I definitely don't agree with speaking ill of people. I really find that everybody can come to when I deal with people, I always try to look at how they offer something of value. Uh, I think that our freedom has definitely gone up and down in the states here. Um, and I had actually looked at going to Panama, to the country, to live there. I sold everything, thinking, okay, maybe I could change. This was years ago, but I thought, oh, maybe just a different type of freedom where it was more simple. It was living on an island where, you had a water catchment, just, it was a different kind of freedom. So I think freedom to do what you want, but still being there for people, taking care of them, and being kind to people. That's what freedom is to me.
I love that, especially being kind.
I know there's not enough of that around.
Thank you so much for sharing your work, for sharing your presence, and for sharing your wisdom, sharing your soul, with me and the audience. Thank you so much, and anyone who comes across this video. So your website is pulseonprofits.com. It will be on the podcast notes. It will be clickable. But
Awesome.
is there anything? Actually, I do have another question for you, if you don't
Okay.
mind. Gosh, we got 3 minutes.
Okay.
What three experiences you wish everyone to have before they die, before they lose the body? This is a question that I
Oh,
usually ask.
wow. Three experiences. Oh, one would be to find the love of your life. And the other would be to do something that you truly enjoy doing in life, where you're not worried about finances. And then, uh, gosh, a third one. I'm all about travel, so I say just be able to get up and travel and go away for a month at a time.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, really.
Gosh, I hear that a lot. Love, yeah, having somebody who loves you unconditionally and you love them back.
Yes.
That comes up a lot, a lot, a lot. And of course, yeah, the fun part of enjoying life. I love the traveling part too. I mean, what's not to love about um, the message that you have, though? And since the very beginning, when we met, there's so much that you've been expressing here that you probably will be aware when you see the video, the
Oh,
conversation. But yeah, you have a beautiful presence. Thank you so much,
thank
Dede.
you.
Thank you.
You know, I truly appreciate your time, and I love to go and watch your podcasts. Oh my gosh, I get something new from everybody. I can only imagine how your life has changed so much from interviewing all the people. I mean, that's just a gift in itself. So I just
Mm.
want to thank you for your time,
Oh my God.
and I'm
Thank you
excited to
for
share.
recognizing. Yeah, thank you for recognizing
Yes.
that. And gosh, you have no idea how much it's beyond gratitude, even for the people that I have met here.
Mhm.
Amazing, beautiful people like yourself. And yeah, that is beyond word, and it's pretty much everything that I ever wanted in life. Just
Mhm.
have this kind of connection with other humans in a deeper way. So thank you so much for recognizing that, and thank you for saying yes again. And we'll talk soon.
Yes.
We'll be in touch again. Bye for now, Diddy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.